Hey gang, here's your quiz for today. So listen to my directions very carefully and I'll help you out with these problems. So the first one, okay, you need to first, there's two different things you got to do. There's an A and a B to each of these first four problems. So the first one, A, says find the points of each point, or find the coordinates of each point. So here's point A, and here's point B. Here's point C, and here's point D. And I'll zoom in a little bit more, because it'll probably be even hard to see on your paper a little bit. But you need to write the coordinates, like, what's the X and Y coordinates for each of those four, A, B, C, and D. Okay? So that's the first part. Then the second part is he's asking you to find the slope of each line, and are they parallel, yes or no? So find the slope. Just, count rise over run, and rise over run, and if they're the same, then they're parallel. If they're not the same, they're not parallel. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we're going to do the same thing. We want to find the coordinates. They list the coordinates of A, B, C, and D. All right. So what's the X, Y coordinates of each? And then they want to know, are they perpendicular? Now remember, to be perpendicular, for example, your slopes need to be the opposite reciprocal. So the first one's positive, then the second one would need to be negative. If they look something like this, where they're flipped of each other and one's positive, one's negative, then they're perpendicular. Make sure if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. Scroll down here to number 3. Okay, he's wanting you to write the equation of a line, okay, that's going through point P, which is at 2, 5, which would be right here. Here's point P. And it's parallel to this line right here, which is y equals 4x plus 1. So just for example, I'm going to graph this other line for you. So the B is 1, the slope is 4, so I go up 4, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. Okay. So here's the first line. Now the second line we're wanting to is going to be parallel. Sorry, my lines aren't perfectly straight, but it's going to be parallel, which means we're going to have the same slope. So here's your X and here's your Y, and your M is over here. So remember, you need to plug it back into y equals mx plus b, just like we've done in class. You need to find b. So you're going to plug in a number here, a number here, and a number here, but not a number here. You need to figure out what that b is. Once you figure out, like, b equals whatever the number is, then you're going to rewrite your equation. Y equals blank x plus or minus whatever the b is. All right, that's a number 3. Number 4 is the exact same thing, only we're going to do perpendicular here. So point P at 3, negative 2, which is here. All right, and then we have our other lines at, see here, if you graph it, would be negative 3, and down 1 and over 3 be like this. Whoops, close enough. The other one is going to be perpendicular, the blue line. That's what we're trying to figure out, what's his equation. Okay, so remember, this is going to be your X and this is your Y. Here's the slope, but remember, when they're perpendicular, you got to flip it and change the sign. Number 5, question asks, what can you conclude from the information, and state your reasoning? So angle 1 is equal to angle 2. These two angles are equal. So what can we conclude about these angles? Notice we have a 180 straight line, and if these angles are equal to each other, what would they have to be? Just kind of write your reasoning down. 6, 7, all right, we need to solve for x. So remember, these two angles are going to total 180. So this angle plus this angle equals, sorry, not 180, but 90. Solve for x. So basically it should look something like this. make sure you combine your like terms first before you go moving around. On number 7, if one angle is 90 degrees, they're all going to be 90 degrees. Okay? So that's how you want to set that one up. Lastly, number 8, we want to find the measure of all these angles listed here, 1 through 6. So what you got to do is you got to use what you know a little bit here and pay attention to the fact that if this is a 90, and this is a 90, that's a 90, and that's a 90, right? He also included the fact that angle 3 and 5 together make a 90-degree angle. So you want to use that 90 degrees to help you figure out some angles. Another thing I want to clue you in about is notice that this angle 60 and this angle 3 are vertical and they're back to back, which means they're equal. So anytime you have angles that are back to back, they're equal. Once you figure out 2, you're going to know 4 because they're back to back. Okay? So, and once you know angle 3, since we know it, we can do some subtraction to figure out 5. And since you know 5, once you get that answer, and this 5 and 6 make a 90, do a little subtraction to figure out 6. And angle 1, you really should be able to get. All right, if you're confused or you need some help, let me know. That's the end. Have a great day.